things.
Yeah, I like orange and other things.
Now we're streaming.
Those are some
good
outstanding qualities.
And I have to fix everyone's video real quick. Yay. And also make sure we're not like blaring out the sound. So, see.
And let's just make sure.
I also like orange.
Right.
I like.
Nobody cares.
I don't know what orange is.
Hey, Rob, I was going through the HobbyLink Japan sale,
Uh-huh.
and their Gundam selection has almost nothing.
Testing
There's
my levels.
like 90 items, and that's it. That's low for them. There's nothing I want in the entire sale. The entire sale, there's nothing I want.
Oh well.
Come on, gotta fix this.
But the problem is, I love HobbyLink Japan, but with them increasing the shipping out of Japan last year, even with the sale prices, it's still about the same as getting it in the U.S.
Yeah, I'm hoping the dodgy Canadian Cogman thing goes through just so I can save $25.
Yeah, that's I can't really. I'm probably going to do that. It's just I've already got a bad eBay seller I'm going to have to report and get a refund on.
Bad seller. You're a bad seller.
Well,
Yeah, just write him a letter.
I mean,
It wasn't for
But
a Headmaster RC, was it?
in the position of
No.
a seller, I kind of hate the way PayPal and eBay have changed their policies over the years. But in a situation like this, where I'm doing a risky purchase, I kind of love it because I pretty much locked in either way.
Well, my thing is, my seller had he started the first of the year. He had 125 feedback, but it was all positive. So he looked like it was a new seller, but he was all positives. And then everything started coming in negative, did not ship, did not return emails. I got email responses the first couple of times I emailed, and now he's dropped from 100 down to 88%. So yeah,
That's kind of bad.
yeah,
Did something similar happen with our Nitro Zeus and Scorn though?
Well, yeah, but basically he said that when he sent the packages out in bulk, because he was doing a bulk email shipment pickup, and there was a screw up on the website where everything got priced wrong, and they refused his entire shipment for the shipping not being correct. So he had to go back and redo everything, which is what caused the delay. But some people did say that in the feedback they never got there. So I don't know.
Did you get yours?
Yeah, Eric and I split a Nitro Zeus and a Scorn.
Yeah,
Yep.
I need to open Nitro Zeus. I haven't opened them yet.
Oh my
How is
goodness, it's
how is-
so good.
How is Scorn?
Scorn's great. Nitro Zeus is way better, but Scorn is still great.
You know what's bad about my area? My area is great. Adds like a couple areas, but my area is great for Wave 1, but man, Grimlock's clogging the shelves. No one has got anything past Wave 1. I haven't seen...
Oh no, it's I mean, it's the same thing here. I've seen one hound, I've seen two hounds,
It's more than I've seen.
one Voyager Megatron, and Leader Megatron, and the new the Wave 2 of the Legends.
So I can go to Walmart and find Leader Megatron right now if I wanted to.
I'll be right back.
I've only seen Hound in Chattanooga once, and never seen a deluxe past Wave 1 in a store.
Yeah, I keep hoping to run across Wave 2 deluxes because I kind of want Drift, kind of.
He's
Yeah,
pretty good.
maybe.
I need Steelbane.
Well, I was at Toys R Us. Toys R Us I usually don't go to, and I found some. They had some. What's
Skulltron?
Skulltrons, yeah. And I had some reward points, and I had some reward points. It's like, well, even if he's floppy, he's still technically free. So I went ahead and got him. Also
and
picked
Evangelist was saying that he found Skeletron to be a little bit better in the tolerances than Steelbane.
Yeah, so there's that. But that's that, and they had MP10, which is the first time I've seen MP10 at Toys R Us. They had Trypticon, Spider Wired. Weird. I guess that's how the Autobots can stop Trypticon. They just use a giant piece of spider wire and like,
whatever works.
But yeah,
that'd be great.
I did see
does anybody need to go and run real quick for a bathroom break or caffeine refill or anything? It's about
get your
time.
caffeine gum, everyone.
Just get the caffeine powder and do a line right now.
Yeah.
There you go.
And here's the strange thing: the Kmart close to the Toys R Us had Leader Megatron and Voyager Megatron, and the Walmart right down the street had Combiner Wars Skywarp still on the shelf.
Oh.
So Kmart actually had something newer than the Walmart.
Every so often that happens, and it feels like the world has gone upside down.
Chris, did you get Voyager Megatron?
No.
I
decided after seeing both of them in person, I was probably just going to abandon the buy a Megatron idea. Honestly, the movie killed a lot of interest I had in buying some of the toys I was interested in as of Toy Fair. I'm super happy to have gotten Nitro, especially now that I can plop a Thunderwing head on it, which looks great together.
Yeah.
And I am still super excited for Cogman just because I like the character in the movie. That's pretty much the only one I can say that about. And
is that because he was crazy?
And the Headmaster thing and the vehicle mode that can seat 2 Titan Masters. Like
that's cool.
It's all a really cool presentation and all that paint on it too. It's really nice.
Yes, actual. I guess, but he's the only new figure in the entire wave that can budget more paint in like that.
Those thighs are kind of missing on paint, though. It's sad.
Well, that may be an unpaintable plastic problem.
Yeah.
I don't think that's necessarily a budget issue so much as a materials issue. Anyway, we should get started. Everybody ready?
Yeah, I guess so.
Mm-hmm.
Recording
coffee
going.
and a Massey.
This can only end in disaster. This is Radio Free Cybertron, episode 535. I'm XV. Kilby is en route to HasCon right now, as will be Diecast tomorrow, and Eric soon behind him.
Mm-hmm.
I am also joined tonight by our special guest producer, Jason, Headmaster Don, Matt, a.k.a. Melvar, and off-screen, as always, Rob Clay and John DeLuna. Hi, guys.
Hello.
Hi.
Yo.
So, HasCon's finally almost upon us. It's just, 2.5 days, basically, from when we're recording right now. How do you think this is going to go?
I think
Not
they're
the
only
way
gonna have a
Hasbro
couple-
wants.
Yeah.
I think they're only going to have a couple RCs. I think by now, I would love to know how many people are going to show up, but I think by now Hasbro should have a pretty good idea of attendees for the event.
Yeah, I would think.
Other than walk-ins. So...
I mean, it's pretty much at the end of the point of selling tickets anyway, so they pretty much know, besides walk-ins, what they're looking at. And I can only imagine they're not super thrilled.
Yeah.
I mean,
I hope I'm wrong. I hope they did a lot better than we thought. I hope the Groupon did really good for them. If some people were just, maybe the price was an issue, maybe that would have helped out a little bit.
We've talked about this before, and I mean, other than just the price or the celebrities they've lined up that are somewhat less than stellar, in some people's opinions, but just the timing of this. They scheduled a family event immediately after the start of school, across the country. It's a bad choice.
And after Labor Day weekend, which Labor Day weekend would have been the ideal point to do this, although there may have been problems with availability of venue space, etc. for that particular weekend. But yeah, having a 3-day weekend for that so everybody could count on having a Monday to get themselves back to their lives after a show might have been a better choice. We will, of course, have a lot more to talk about HasCon on next week's show once all of our visitors are back from that. So let's get into this week's show. Unfortunately, we have some bad news to start the show off with. Over the weekend, apparently, Samantha Androsky, otherwise known as Awa64, who has been a longtime friend to a lot of us in the Radio Free Cybertron family and a huge contributor to the fandom in general, unfortunately passed away due to complications from a medical issue. There's a lot of people that I've known for years who are really saddened by this. It's really been a shock to me that someone, so young, so in the middle of their life could just be gone suddenly like that. All of us here wish Samantha's family the best, and I don't even really know what to say at this point. It's hit me pretty hard just for how suddenly she was gone. But we will always remember her and everything she's contributed to the fandom, our groups of friends, and the community in general. So in slightly happier news, we do have a contest that is halfway underway right now, where you can win Brian Kilby's surplus Titans Return Topspin, Generations Legends Skywarp and Cliff Jumper. Those are the market $6 general, smaller Cyberverse size ones. You can enter to win those by leaving a review for the RFC Daily Transformers News Update at Amazon.com by visiting tfradio.net/Alexa. We don't really care what you put in the review. You just need to review it.
It's got to be good.
Well, that would be preferred, but, we also accept honesty.
Yeah,
Any good things about Diecast would be put to the top of the list.
Okay,
people don't need to lie.
That's just lying. Yeah.
As is typical, the opinions of Diecast are not necessarily the opinions of Radio Free Cybertron as a whole.
Or anybody else that we know of.
So, I mean, I could ask Diecast what he got this week, but I think we all know what to expect of Diecast at this point. So let's start with Don. Did you get anything this week?
Yes, other than a few off-topic things, which is really not that important. I did get this guy.
Hey, Brian's not here. If you want to talk about one or two off-topic things, I'm not going to stop you.
Okay, all right. I picked up a Usagi Yojimbo from the Teenage Mutant. He's one per case, and I was glad to get him.
Oh,
nice. The Usagi, the rabbit from the Teenage Mutant
Samurai
Ninja
Rabbit.
Turtles. The Samurai Rabbit.
That is totally a
figure
comic worth reading, incidentally, if you never have.
And the base figure is it's for Playmates. It's for their basic figure. It's a really well done sculpt. It looks pretty good. Picked up a couple other small odds and ends, nothing really major. But I did get this guy thanks to an eBay coupon that I have no idea where it came from.
Oh wow! Oh,
yeah, the G2 grinder. I really didn't. I wanted a copy of the grinder mold just for the slight differences, but I didn't really want the regular color version because MP Grimlock is fine even if he is a little short compared to the Fans Toys Dinobots. But when they announced the G2 colors, I thought, well, this way I can get one of the mold, at least have a representation, and I can have the G2 one. Now, the Slag is and the Snarl. I've got the G1 versions, so I'm really not looking forward to. I don't plan on getting the other two unless I can find them really cheap, or if they do the Sludge and the Swoop at some point, I might look at that, getting a set. Maybe, I don't know, but he's really well done. There's some definite improvements on him versus the MP, just as far as the little bit extra size gives you a little more clearances. The thing we talked about on that y'all talked about on There Goes My Money was the head. I don't really see what the problem is. I mean, it's not G1 purist, but I mean, it's a T-Rex dinosaur chompy chomp head. I mean,
yeah, it's not a bad head. Like it might be the difference between like G1 toy and G1 cartoon, maybe. Well, in the design,
maybe, but it's just I just don't see a need of spending $25 to $30 for a replacement head when it's a robot T-Rex dinosaur head. It just. And besides, unless he's going to be in Dinobot mode the whole time, is you really going to see it that often? I don't know. But I like him. He's very soft. Like all the Fans Toy stuff, he's very nice. The only thing I wish, and this is purely subjective, is that he had been done in more of a powder puff blue. Because we've talked about in the past there was
at length.
Yeah, there was a huge amount of shading variances on these blue Grimlocks, all the way from turquoise up to this dark blue, like some of y'all might see the color that Rob has on his background. You know, for y'all there that Rob has there.
For those of us on Skype, anyway, because I don't think Rob's icon is visible on the stream.
Okay.
Nope.
It's the one I use on Twitter at Flailthroughs if you want to take a look.
Yeah. So I wish it had been more of the powder puff Carolina sky blue, just to match the one that I saw in the store. But I like him, and he's very good. And I got him for $150 shipped thanks to the coupon, because he's a $215 toy.
Oh wow,
that's good.
Yeah.
Wow.
So,
good deal.
plus, I was able to buy him when there was eBay bonus bucks, and so I got $16 back in bonus points. So there's that.
Dononomics. Get anything else, Don?
No, I didn't. It was a very light week, and
But you made it a good one.
yeah, but I've got some stuff coming hopefully for next week.
Okay, cool. Matt, how about you?
I got nothing this week, sadly.
Oh, sad trombone.
Yeah.
Jason, you're not here very often. Did you get anything lately?
Lately, yeah.
Since the last time you were on the show?
Well, if it's since the last time we're on the show, I'm just gonna drag the shelf over here for a minute.
Okay, good.
Like Scorpion, get over here.
Right. Oh, a number of things since then, but I'm trying to think. Oh, so I had Blitzwing and Octone on order from BBTS, and I saw them at Target, so I canceled my pre-order that just come in and got them. Last week during the show, I was playing around with watching you guys. I was playing around with Blitzwing. I know something funny on one of the wings that go on the front in tank mode. It's like, wow, I have a child. This looks a lot like baby food. I'm pretty sure there was baby food on my Blitzwing. My son is 3. He don't eat baby food no more. So I don't know where that came from. Someone in the factory eating baby food? I don't know. So I took him back and exchanged them. And I can confirm this is a baby food free Blitzwing.
I can't remember who it was, but sometime in the last few months, I read a report of someone getting a toy in package, and it appeared to have blood on it.
Ooh.
Oh.
Oh boy.
So yeah.
So I think I made out better there.
I'm just starting to wonder what's going on in those factories that we don't really want to know about.
No, I don't think we want to, for sure. What happens in the factory stayed in the factory, apparently. Or in the box of your toy.
Yeah, I wish it would stay in the factory. We'd have less to talk about then.
Right.
Eric, how about you?
Nothing really before HasCon. Although I did get Siege on Cybertron before.
Yeah, you did.
Cool. How are you liking that?
I'm really liking it. Tidal Wave is better than Broadside.
I mean, yes, objectively, it is a better fitting instance of that mold. It's just a bad tidal wave.
Yeah.
I don't have any problems with the broadside mold. It's just those stupid Hasbro stickers.
I have a problem with the Broadside mold.
Just side by side, though, the parts fit on Tidal Wave is like noticeably better. Broadside's not like falling apart or anything, but Tidal Wave is just a little bit easier and smoother to handle in my experience.
Remember
Okay.
when we were
I-
all excited
hold on.
about Broadside?
Yes. Okay. I don't have a problem with the broadside mold other than that jet mode.
Well, yeah.
Well,
There
9F can
there
fix
is-
that for you.
There is no jet mode. There is no jet mode.
Easter egg bootleg Zeta Gundam mode. Speaking of which, Rob?
Nothing. Converted all my existing money into food today.
I mean, that's a worthy accomplishment in and of itself.
Yes,
Eating is really good.
it is.
In moderation.
John, if you're paying attention, have you gotten anything lately?
I'm paying attention, sir. How dare you? I didn't get any Transformers, but I did convert all my food into poop today. So I'm right there with you, Rob.
Yeah, and in the back you hear a Hadouken in the background. So
If you want
that would be the best thing to do in a public bathroom that's crowded. You go into a stall and wait like a minute and a half and just shout, Hadouken! And then flush. Okay, new life goal. Okay, gonna let Diecast wrap this up in a minute because he's gonna take the longest, I'm sure. But before that, I want to share what I got this week, which is something I have been wanting for almost 15 years now. Micron Legend Tidal Wave, aka Shockwave. This is the best deco version of this. It's not show accurate. The show went with a gray and purple color scheme, but it was not exactly close to the toy. This is the best look for Tidal Wave, in my opinion. I love the Energon one too for being so kind of wacky and out there with its clear greens and lightning bolt and stuff. But like
G2-ish.
this is the one. This is the Tidal Wave I have lusted after for 15 years, and I finally got it, and I got it for a great price thanks to Jack at T-Formers. So thanks very much for that. You have made my collection just that much more enriched.
He's huge.
And it's so much better than the Titan's Return Tidal Wave.
But here's
we're
the
using
thing.
the same deco.
Can you imagine how much that Tidal Wave would cost now? There's no way it would have to be at least probably
a leader toy. It would be a leader class.
Yeah. And he was what, a Voyager?
He was an Ultra class, which doesn't exist anymore. That was a $25 price point in 2003. So that price point's gone now. But for the plastic mask, the moving parts, I mean, it would easily come in at a leader price point, so $45, $50 depending. A lot of the stuff that fell into the ultra price point over the years, I think now would have to be a leader like Universe Silverbolt and Onslaught. Those could never be sold sub $30 anymore. It's just not possible.
And they had electronics.
Yeah, exactly.
I still love that Onslaught mold to this day.
Me too. Clench is the best thing that has come off of that.
Yes.
I got one of those a few years ago for $30.
Oh, nice. If you ever get a chance, you should put Tidal Wave next to Overlord and just see how they compare in terms of size and mass.
Well, let's see.
Now,
start talking about what you got while I go work on this.
Okay, I'll talk about something free that I got because people may not know about it, and you can go get it at your Toys R Us if you want. It is a glyph decoder for Transformers. So it says, it's the mission to Cybertron glyph decoder, but I'm sure it might work with other Transformers figures. And it was just a little card. They had them up front with the Transformers stuff by the movie stuff. So if you want a glyph decoder, or you can go to my Twitter page or Facebook page because I uploaded this to both of them also. So that's the first thing I got. Next thing I got, and I don't know why, this is that Toys R Us exclusive Optimus Prime.
Mm.
And he is...
weird.
Yeah. He looks like a deluxe-sized figure.
Did you have the Dark of the Moon Optimus before?
I don't know. I probably did.
Yeah, that's just the Dark of the Moon Voyager mold. And yes, it is quite small comparatively.
With some red clear plastic. So
yeah, the accessories are new, I think. I don't think it had the sword or shield the first time around.
Yeah, I mean, I maybe I didn't. Maybe I just got the leader, and maybe I never got the whatever this was.
Is there a leader in Dark of the Moon?
I think so.
I don't remember.
Oh wait,
yeah,
was it just the winged one or whatever? Like it was around. I think it was a little bigger than a leader.
I think it was just that one. The gimmick platform,
which was like, it was like a Voyager-sized Optimus, but it wasn't that mold. It was like a special mold that fit inside the jet armor.
It came with the butterfly trailer.
Yep.
I also got Open and Play Big Spring.
Okay, so in the numerology of Springers, which one is that?
I'm not sure, but I think I'm gonna go for all 6.
Whoa!
Oh my god!
You want 2 of each mode?
Shelf of Springers.
We joked whenever they announced 6 that he was going to do that.
Yeah, Diecast has better things to do tonight than eat.
Apparently.
Third-party companies everywhere are thanking you, Diecast.
Yeah,
we're going to sell one.
Well, I don't want to be biased. So I'm going to try them all. Yeah.
Well, I mean, I've got Alan, the first one that came out, and I enjoy that one. I've seen the other ones, and they all look so far. All the ones that have come out look pretty good. It's Springer. You don't need that many.
And I got a
Wouldn't
couple
need
things
any.
that aren't in my grasp. Remember that 3-pack that was supposed to be a Kmart exclusive that had Cyclonus and the 2 sweeps that were like clear plastic or had
Yeah.
some clear plastic?
Yeah.
The
Yeah.
platinum set, yeah.
I got the 2 sweeps
Oh, nice.
because they were
Oh.
being sold individually. And Cyclonus wasn't available, so I just got the 2 sweeps. But I seem to have this shelf of sweeps going on, and they're not all the same anyway. So I kind of like that they were 2 different styles of sweeps that I could add into the shelf.
Cool.
And I also got the little Cyclonus, which is the same one as the Soundwave, the whatever that knockoff company's calling themselves. So I got that.
They made a Cyclonus?
Yeah. Yep.
Never heard of that one.
Just came out.
Okay.
And I also got
Okay, Jason, be ready with that hang up button.
Well, I mean,
So-
we've already devolved into poop jokes, so.
I got a
No,
I got a
poop
head.
jokes are classier.
Okay.
This actually came on
Labor Day.
Labor Day. So it came on the holiday. I was very surprised that UPS or USPS, it was the Postal Service that dropped this off. I was like, oh my God, I got a package. Oh my God, I got a head. So it was very nice. And
You're
he
fired,
is
Jason.
absolutely beautiful.
I don't have to fix
And-
the video.
The LEDs are so nice. And he, like, if you move his head up and down, he chomps. And I
Oh,
have
cute.
Rodimus's Titan Master in his mouth right now.
Kicking it out.
I watched your video on that. The only complaint I have looking at that, I really wish the eyes are green.
That's what
Oh,
someone
yeah.
else said too. And is the red not movie accurate?
No,
No,
the,
it's
eye,
not.
the eyes were green in the movie. Even the I think in the Armada cartoon when they used Unicron, his eyes were also green. Although that toy had red LEDs because red LEDs are the least expensive or were at the time.
I almost wish that one of the eyes had like a broken replacement, so you could give him
Yeah,
the broken eye look.
Yeah, you know they
Yeah.
done like on the Planet X Triptychon where the LED module just you could twist and remove them.
Yeah.
Like that was a great way to go with this, although it would have increased the cost probably. You said in your review you thought that was Rotocast mostly.
Yes, that's what. And then someone said no, it's thick PVC plastic, but it had that smell to it when I opened it, and it kind of.
Well, Rotocast would be a vinyl product too, so it would make sense it would smell of a similar way.
Yeah.
You know, what you need diecast is a little Coro Q Rodimus, and you can have it like exiting out of the eye or something.
Well, I have that Rodimus from
Oh, what about the
Siege on
Micromaster one?
Cybertron. What's
The
that?
Micromaster one.
Oh
Yeah.
yeah.
From Star Convoy.
Yeah, that would work.
But I really like this. I'm so glad I picked this up.
Yeah, it's cool
Just-
looking.
Yeah.
Yeah, it looks great, and it's a lot cheaper than that metal one. There was a metal one that came out a couple years ago.
Yeah, I remember that.
That was about $199, and I think that looks actually better.
Yeah, and
I mean,
this
it's no Unicron lamp, but it's still
That's what I was
nice.
about to say.
I think this only cost
than a
me
lamp.
about $60 shipped, and people are saying that
Yeah,
you
that
know it's on
costs less than a tenth of a Unicron lamp.
yeah it's on eBay for like 140 or something. Someone was saying so.
Dang.
I thought it was a pretty good deal. I really enjoy it. Especially I didn't know what to expect when it came. You know, because no one else that I know of has it. I haven't seen a review for it, so I was just going by. Ooh, that looks like a nice picture.
Yeah, I vaguely remember. I think that like early pictures or renders of that turned up in one of the Asia fan groups that I follow. But like I'd forgotten that exists. Nobody's been talking about that. I haven't seen it at any retailers outside of Asia. So yeah, I was kind of surprised to see that turn up. That was interesting to actually see how that turned out. So anything else, Diecast?
No, that's it.
Okay, so before we move on, let's revisit the whole how big would what class would Tidal Wave be today. So here's Overlord, And here's title.
Oh, wow.
Holy crap!
And of course you're using a toy that everybody has to look at. Overlord, of course. So everybody can go grab
it's
their
the same
Overlord.
height as Black Shadow, so.
Yeah, and the reason I chose Overlord is that Overlord, like Tidal Wave, strikes me as being fairly slim front to back. So I figured they'd have around the same kind of mass. So that seemed to me seemed to be a pretty good scale comparison. So you could probably not even sell Tidal Wave as a leader.
Yeah.
It's significantly heavier. I think the only way you could do justice. I think the only way you could do justice to Tidal Wave as a modern toy would be in the leader price point. Overlord and Sky Shadow are kind of proof of that since they're already doing the multiple vehicles into one robot thing. But it's
So Eric,
it's kind of amazing that happened at all in the first place.
So when that toy came out, Eric, it was $25. It was basically the less than the price of a current movie Voyager.
And I was 4.
And yes, Eric is not old enough to remember.
Yeah.
That was what, 2003? I'm 47,
we'll
30. I was 33.
I was 24.
I don't remember super well the wave to wave breakdown of Armada. Tidal Wave either would have been late 2002 or sometime into 2003. But I can't tell you as specifically as I could with other lines, unfortunately.
Hey,
So
Chris.
John and Carl, if you're watching this, please let us know the way.
Also, how many packaging variations there were too.
So I just want to redeem myself real quick. I also got Tiny Picard.
Oh, nice.
All right.
So there. That makes up for not hanging up on Diecast.
Oh, well, if we're going
Does
to
it,
go
though?
into Mega Blocks, I also got the
as well.
Technodrome.
Oh, yeah, I saw that on Twitter.
Oh yeah, because Toys R Us has been having that marked down to like $150, haven't they?
Yeah, and there was a 30% off.
Ooh.
And yeah, and I had a coupon, so it went. I Dynanomicsed it, and it was under 100.
Nice.
Nice.
Yeah,
Jeez.
yeah, that's a
The
huge.
Technodrome is one of those things that I look at, and I would really I think I would love to have that because it's a really impressive looking model. At the same time, I know I have nowhere to keep the damn thing once it's built.
That's why I don't have an Enterprise.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I was talking to a friend of mine at work today, and he said, if you see anywhere that has that new Ultimate Collector Series Lego Millennium Falcon, that's 7,000 plus pieces, let him know. It's like, yeah, it's. I'm glad you have room for that. He actually has a Lego. His basement is his man cave, and he has hundreds of Lego sets, Star Wars Lego sets. He says
so cool looking.
yeah, and he's already made room for the Lego Millennium Falcon.
Jeez.
So that Lego Millennium Falcon is something I would love to see put together in person, just to see how in depth they went designing it. I would never want to even consider owning one.
It's 7,000. It's $800 and 7,000 pieces.
Well, if he buys one, he'll save Toys R Us from bankruptcy. If he buys one from Toys R Us, so.
No, you're jumping ahead a little bit.
Oh, sorry.
First, you gotta do. First is this week in history.
Yes. Can I do this? Can I do this?
Sure, Don.
Oh, wait. Don, I'm losing Don on the call. Wait. No, I won't do that.
All right. This week in history in 2001. The 2001 original Robots in Disguise premiered in America with the episode Battle Protocol. We get to meet Optimus Prime as voiced by Neil Kaplan. We get to meet Ty. We get to meet Koji. We get to meet the Car Robot Brothers. We get JRX. We get Megatron. That's not.
JRX wasn't in that episode.
Well, not that episode, but in the series itself. I'm
not gonna have you sit here and name off the whole cast of the series, Don.
Okay, all right. But yes, it was a filler episode to give them time to transition from Beast Machine, since Transtech did not work out, to Armada. But we did get it. Unfortunately, we don't have it yet on DVD. But it was a very much loved show, if very niche, a niche category. In Japan it was G1 in a fashion, so
retroactively.
Retroactively. But yeah, if you get a chance to find it online, it's a fun little show. It's kind of goofy. But we do get a really great interpretation of Optimus Prime, again voiced by Neil Kaplan. Just one of my
pretty well done dub. They punched up the script nicely, and most of the performances are pretty good too.
Yeah, and of course, a lot of that was also when Skybite shows up by Peter Spellos. He helped a lot as far as some of the goofier moments was kind of toned down by the dub and the vocal work. It's like when he's run over by a Scourge, he says, "I think I know him." When Scourge runs him over, just little things like that make the dub really fun.
Well, that and look at that, a delicious cake in the subway. Well, I am kind of hungry. Maybe I'll have a bite. Nom, nom, nom. Kind of stale when he's actually eating a subway car.
Yeah. So great little series.
It has its moments.
Yeah. If you can find it online legally to watch, go ahead, since there is no DVD set except for the Region 2 one from the UK, which our friend Chris McFeely does some commentary on. So there's always that as well.
We talk about this from time to time, but Robots in Disguise was kind of an amazing thing to have happen because it was the first time we had a Japanese series dubbed into English for, mainline consumption. Honestly, it was the first time a Japanese series was dubbed in English at all, but for that to become the main line itself was a really remarkable event. And the Toy Fair presentation where the line was revealed was itself kind of amazing just for the story that arose afterward, where apparently the Hasbro reps went to Image Anime in New York and bought off the shelf Car Robots toys to have be the Robots in Disguise display at Toy Fair that year.
And one of the best things was all of us that imported the stuff the year before because we thought we would never ever see it in the United States got to buy it again with the new decos, the ones that were changed, the following year.
On the other hand, that did let me get an Ultra Magnus or God Magnus only for $30 instead of the $90 that would have been robbery for that damn toy.
Jeez.
I don't think Ultra Magnus is that bad. There's a lot worse toys. There's a lot worse toys out there.
Well, no. There is worse toys than Robots in Disguise Ultra Magnus. It's called Legends God Bomber.
I thought you were going to say Chronos.
Oh, wow. Wow. Going against God Bomber. Wow. Of course, I haven't opened it
I'm sticking with official toys for this one, Eric.
God Bomber goes against God Bomber at this point.
Okay, so let's jump into Dear RFC. We have a voicemail this week from Winston Leggett. Sorry if I've mispronounced your last name. And he says, love the show. It helps keep me up to date on Transformers that are coming up and learn about Transformers from the past, as we've just proven. My question was about T-shirts. I see Diecast wearing an RFC T-shirt, and I'd love to represent you guys at an upcoming comic convention. Do you have shirts available? Do you sell shirts? So we are working on the T-shirt thing right now, actually. Nothing is currently available, but we have a design that we like, and we're currently working with printers to see what we can make happen there. So basically, stay tuned. We're going to try to get that together as soon as it's feasible for us. Hopefully, we'll have some more details on that after HasCon.
Or get a sticker and make your own.
True. Okay, if you want the third-party RFC shirt, yes.
That would be cool. Just have maybe 4 or 5 of our best designs on those little peel and stick iron-ons, so you can buy the blank shirt and then get the pack of stickers, and then you can just pick the one you want.
I don't hate this idea. I don't hate this idea at all.
That's an interesting idea. I wonder how much it would cost to get iron-on transfers printed.
I don't think it would be much because you can do it at home, so it can't be that hard.
Because I got the idea from because they did the old iron-on patches in the G1 toys, so it's like we could pick the top 5, have iron-on transfers done, then you can pick the shirt and your favorite one.
Interesting idea. See, my suggestion was going to be to get one of those blank, hello, my name is stickers and just write RFC in the blank space and put that on one of your shirts.
I like that too.
Your idea is good too, Don.
The one I was thinking for me it was a little self-serving, but Radio Free Cybertron powered by Dononomics. That was a little self-serving though. So
I want to keep that slogan in mind for maybe a future T-shirt run also. Because I think that would appeal to some of our listener base.
Or RFC, Massey Attack.
Anyway, if you want
Oh, it's a picture of Massey in G2 Megatron colors. Massey Attack.
I mean, I like the thought there, Don, but that seems a little bit like I'd have to do a lot of photoshopping to make that happen, and I'm not really in love with that idea.
Well, Stan, you would look
if you would
you
like
would
to possibly have your question presented on the show and answered by us, you can certainly reach us by contact@tfradio.net. Also through our voicemail line, which also accepts text messages. That is 931-99-GOBOT or 931-994-6268. Also, you can just tweet at us your question at TF Radio. We usually answer that pretty good too. So, moving into the show, our big item for this week is Toys R Us is investigating the possibility of filing for bankruptcy.
Ooh.
Yeah.
Bankruptcy or bankruptcy protection?
Okay, that's what I was going to say is now before everyone starts worrying that Toys R Us is going to close, there are several different kinds of bankruptcy. It's a very large umbrella that a lot of different legal statuses can fall under. So do not assume they're going to claim bankruptcy and close all the stores, because there was a company here in the South called Revco for those people that lived here in the South back in the late 80s, mid 80s and early 90s. Revco, I worked for them for a short period of time in high school.
Don's been everywhere.
Yeah. Best job ever. Well, I almost don't say that. But they were literally under the bankruptcy, as you said, Diecast, the reorganization aspect of it, for over 15 to 20 years, and they were still operating their stores at that time. They were eventually bought out by another company, but so just take that into that they're not closing, that they're not saying, well, we're done, shut the doors and lock them. So just don't freak out about that.
Although it also could be possible, because I believe with Circuit City they went into bankruptcy protection and then quickly went into bankruptcy.
Yep.
Well, that was Circuit City that never had anything in stock when they advertised it, and they were also higher than everybody else.
Well, Toys R Us is higher than everybody else. So
Yeah, really.
I was about to say, oh no, where will I look for things $2 to $5 above retail anymore?
Well, but see, here's the thing though. Y'all don't have the smallest Toys R Us left in the chain. I do.
You probably won't for long either, Don.
So I'm a little. I mean, personally, I'm a little worried because my Toys R Us has a great staff. I found stuff at my little Toys R Us, like Brian's MP10, the Soundwave I found for him, stuff I found for y'all, that other Toys R Us's that get picked over by more people in bigger towns don't get enough of. So I am a little personally, it's a little self-serving, but I'm a little worried about losing my it's my magical Toys R Us, basically.
I understand, Don.
Yeah, and I mean, even around here, like I have to travel a fair distance to get to a Toys R Us, but like over the last 5 or so years, like the 2 most convenient locations have already closed down. And that was even before, things got to the point where, okay, we're looking at bankruptcy protection as one of our options. I'm, really worried about like the last one within a reasonable distance closing down, and then I've got to drive even farther, way out of my way to get to one if I ever want to see anything at Toys R Us anymore. It's kind of like with Kmart and Sears. Once they start going through this process, even if the company survives and keeps going, this is usually when less profitable locations will start to shut down and your options for actually visiting one of these stores gets fewer and fewer and fewer. That would be my immediate concern in this.
Yeah.
Or you're also possibly looking at a buyout, which,
yeah, that's possible.
Toys R Us powered by Amazon.
Yeah.
They used to be. Toys R Us's online presence in the early 2000s was powered by Amazon.
I'd forgotten about that. That's true. So, yeah.
And here's something else that's just a little strange, is that if you go to the Kmart.com website, a lot of the stuff in their toy department is through Toys R Us. So that's another kind of odd little thing.
Yeah, I mean, Amazon does seem like the most likely thing if somebody wanted to acquire the Toys R Us branding, because they're already making inroads into physical retail. They bought Whole Foods just recently, for one example.
Yep.
And there's also acquisition companies that will buy it to split it up. So that could be, they could actually split online and retail because there's talks about that with doing it with Staples, and they're saying that they may the acquisition company that's trying to buy Staples is only interested in online, so they may buy it just for that and sell the retail off to someone else.
Yeah. And also, not trying to be a scaremonger here, but back in the 70s and 80s when I was younger, there was a chain here in the South called Zayres. Zayres was bought by Ames, who most of y'all up north will have heard of.
Yep.
And then Ames was open for a year and a half and then shut down all of our Zayres. I found so much crap at Zayres it wasn't even funny. So that they could be bought by Liquidator just to make money and to flip them and then close them. I'm hoping that's not the case, but again, it is a possibility.
Yeah, I've seen a lot today on social media of, I don't want to call it fear mongering, but a lot of jumping to the worst case scenario here that, Toys R Us is on the way out, go cash in your rewards points and gift certificates now while you still can. It's premature for that, I think. The news story is leading with the bankruptcy protection line because that's eye-catching. It's clickbait, basically. Oh, yeah. That's just one of the options they're investigating. They're talking with their legal representation and their other relevant parties. Okay, what are our options? How can we proceed here? We need to deal with these debts that are stacking up, and we want to kind of get through this before the holiday season kicks in, especially. We want to be clear to proceed forward with that, and then from there start to work on this. So it's really too early to make any kind of judgment call on what's going to happen with the future of Toys R Us. We've seen a lot of other companies go through processes like this. Some have come through to the other side in one form or another. Some, like Circuit City, which was not the best place in the first place, those went away and mostly all became churches, or at least around here. It's the weirdest thing. You just go to these shopping centers and you see the iconic Circuit City shaped building, but now it's just some kind of church.
They were called pluggy stores internally, is what we referred to them as.
Okay, I could see that.
When all this was announced on Twitter, I was trying to find the tweet to give credit to the right person, so I apologize if I can't do that. Someone said, "I find this impossible to believe. I have spent too much money there for them to be going into bankruptcy." And I have to agree. I think between me and y'all and everybody else, I think we feel like we spent too much money for this to actually be a thing that's happening.
Maybe Dononomics is killing them. This could be you, Don.
Oh no!
This could be all you.
I only use my powers for good.
I know, but for the last 2 years, we've been teaching everybody else about Dononomics. We could have destroyed Toys R Us.
Dononomics is the light side of the force. You're looking for mirror Lazarus Don, who's using evil Dononomics to destroy the world.
No. See, what you're failing to take into account that the force is not really inherently good or dark. It's just the utilization of the force that makes it light or dark side. Mm-hmm. So if somebody wants to use Dononomics for nefarious purposes, it's a dark side application.
Yeah. Well, that's sort of like saying
I'm a Star Wars expert.
Yeah. Well, that's like saying I'm not. Never mind.
Whatever, Kylo Don. Just give it up. We know what you're doing.
All right, next.
Okay, so let's get into the main bulk of the news here. So HasCon is, of course, this weekend, and Hasbro wants us to be ready for Power of the Primes reveals because there's been a lot of official teasers, let's say, for Power of the Prime stuff, which I feel like I already know about these somehow.
Yeah, it's weird.
We can't, though. We can't know about them.
Did we dream?
They haven't been announced yet.
Fever dream or something. I don't know.
Yeah. Unless we have some clairvoyance kick in or something.
And if I was guessing, man, I would say one of the images looked like the Abominus center bot. Hunger.
Yep.
That's right.
You want it so bad you could taste it. That's how I remember.
Yeah, the other one looked like Snarl.
Yep.
Sludge, I think.
Sludge.
So I think 3 Dinobots have been teased, and then Hunger. We also have a full reveal of artwork for Rodimus Prime.
I have to say I love that artwork.
Yeah, it's nice.
Yeah, that one was at least we saw at
Yeah, it's not so much of a here's a new thing we're going to show you. This is here's the art for the thing we debuted at San Diego Comic-Con.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
But I think the most interesting thing that's come out of the Power of the Primes teasers and a little bit of leaks that have happened is this apparent Predaking mock-up. Now, I think this is legit because, as the article points out, there is also a figure based on the unified redesign of Megatron from the like Busy Book and other licensed materials, which we're theorizing might be a Cyberverse design, possibly. We're not really sure on that, but that's giving the Predaking mock-up some credibility since they're both in the same place together with what looks like official banner behind them.
You know, Jason pointed out on There Goes My Money. I think we talked about this also, or we may just been talking before the show, but
Maybe, yeah.
He had a very good point that I think he should say.
Great. So my really good point was it about the Trypticon thing?
Yes.
Yeah, the mock-up.
Okay. Yeah, because some people are questioning it, saying, well, it can't be a mock-up because there's no, you can tell that there's no transforming. But my point is, after seeing what they did with Trypticon, where they took parts of Fort Max to map out how are they going to do Trypticon, something like this, I have no problem believing that Hasbro does this for their mock-ups.
Yeah, I mean, in my opinion, if this is for internal presentation, which it probably is because there's not like an event we know of open to the public anywhere where something like this will be displayed, this is to give the parties who need to know an idea of the scale, the final shape, and the colors that the toy is going to be when it's produced. So it doesn't need to have transforming parts or anything, and being an actual sculpted piece like this, you would need to have that just to have that physical representation there to get everybody on the same page.
Yeah, and I don't think the arms are going to be this clean or anything either. I think they're just saying, hey, this is the basic shape. And a lot of people are questioning its validity because of that. And it's like, well, hey, they built a dinosaur out of a person, so I'm pretty sure they can do this for their mock-ups too.
I want to try that in real life.
No, do not do that.
Now, seeing this picture has got me to thinking, and we've all gone to like Toys R Us, and we've seen those tall, they may be rotocast and maybe not, like the cool Dino Charge Red, John Cena, the big Halo figures,
Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtle.
Yep.
Yeah, well, not quite that big, but like it was on the end caps,
cool.
like why Hasbro could kind of look at doing that with this Predaking. Maybe for other markets, maybe as an exclusive, basically a jumbo machiner Predaking.
I mean, they're already, right?
I mean,
got
exactly.
the bottles.
I mean, exactly. So I mean, yeah, they wouldn't have it on the market at the same. They shouldn't have it on the market at the same time when Power of the Prime's Predaking comes out. But as a possible San Diego exclusive, I mean, how many people wouldn't mind having basically it's an Action Master, but it would have a lot more articulation, a lot more paint. It would be basically a jumbo machine of Predaking. And the proof is right there that it could be done. So, that could be they could use this, and they've got an exclusive for, say, next year's San Diego, the jumbo machine version of Predaking.
I mean, plenty of people ended up buying that Sentinel gigantic action Scorponok, which is basically the same concept, too. And when you're not factoring in international shipping, it's even more accessible.
go
So ahead, Rob.
This wouldn't be too different from the Titan Heroes things they put out, the big, the big hollow
bottles.
things.
Oh yeah.
No, well, this wouldn't suck. So there's a slight
theoretically.
Yeah, theoretically, ideally, I think if you were to do something like you were talking about, Don, it would turn out like one of those, but hopefully with just enough more paint and articulation to set it apart a little bit.
Well, and that's the thing I think, where being some kind of a convention exclusive would come in, because then, you could put on, the premium paint job to actually make it look like something.
Yeah.
And you could really do, a really, if it was a convention exclusive, you could have, that Rodimus artwork we just talked about, but, the Predaking, like the G1 look, but with the Power of the Primes, on the box. It would be like a giant poster box kind of thing. Or they could do them carded like Galactus.
Oh, that'd be great.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, I'd be down for that. But yeah, by the end of this weekend, we should have maybe not a lot more answers about Power of the Primes, but from the teases they're showing us, we probably will have a lot of new, like direct firsthand looks at some of the stuff that got horribly leaked a little while back.
Yeah.
And I heard they're concentrating on Power of the Prime so much that their Headmaster RC run is actually going to be
I'm just going
very
to cut you
small.
off right there, or have Jason hang up on you, one or the other.
Come on, I only got a couple more hours of this.
No, Diecast, Don's blood pressure can't take it.
Yeah. And
It's time again.
Hopefully. Well, and okay, now when do I rip off my shirt? At what point do I do that?
Hopefully never, Don.
Hopefully never. That's what she said.
Jason.
And hopefully, though, Brian will find out his long burning question when the Transformer Weeble Wobbles are actually coming out. So we're also praying for Brian to find out about his Weeble Wobbles.
Why is Hasbro teasing? Is it Weibo style? Wait, was it Weibo or Weibo? Whatever. You know what I'm talking about, though?
Yeah.
Yeah.
How they, for the long time, they had those like parts of pictures. Why?
Maybe they found that guy in China. Who was never actually in China, by the way. But maybe they found that guy and put him on the payroll because, like, those teasers got a lot of attention. Come do that for us officially. Probably not.
I'm going to say no.
Well, these are in color for one thing.
Yeah. So generally, Hasbro, like, official policy is leaks happen. We can't acknowledge them no matter what. So what we have to assume here is that they're proceeding on exactly the same plan they would have had if that leak had never happened. And if you think about it in that context, they're showing just enough in these so that fans like us will know exactly what we're looking at, except for that one female robot leg who, like, I can't even pin down what specifically that's supposed to be, but we'll find out later. So fans like us would be able to identify that stuff right away. Fans who aren't so conversant in every little scrap of information in, the Transformers history, like, they'd get a general idea, but then it would be kind of an exciting tease that way. It's not an invalid way to do this, and it makes sense they would kind of do that a few days ahead of a big reveal event they have planned. It's just the leak kind of obviated everything way ahead of time.
Yeah.
It's killed our excitement.
It annoyed me so much when it happened before, and now they're doing it themselves. And I get why it kind of makes sense. I just hate it. It annoys me so much.
I'm still excited.
Teaser stuff. So
I'm excited to see it, but I mean,
this is stuff we would be excited about.
Right. So, like, why don't they just put a full picture of one of them instead of putting a quarter picture of each? I mean, you just explained why, but I'm just saying it annoys me personally.
Rhetorical questions.
Yeah,
it's not a literal question. I know the answer.
Yeah, if policy would allow them to acknowledge that the leak had happened, I'm sure they'd be being a little bit more upfront with what they're going to show, just to be like, okay, you can finally get a real look at these now, as opposed to the grainy cell phone pictures off of someone's screen that happened in China 2 months ago or whenever. It seems kind of weird and dumb to us on the outside, but they've got to adhere to whatever corporate structure that pays their bills, basically.
Yeah. And just before we move on from this, I just want to say, and the fact that Hasbro can't acknowledge these leaks, they say they happen, but they can't comment on them, they can't acknowledge anything. When we at T-Formers get asked to put together Q&A questions for Hasbro, that makes that torturous, because you can't reference things that you already know. You can either ask questions that we already know the answers to, or you can ask questions that they can't answer, and there's just this tiny magical window somewhere in the middle that you have to try and find something to ask them about. And it gets harder every single time we do this.
But if you like really difficult puzzles where you don't know what the final picture looks like, have we got a job for you? Moving right along. So, Takara Tomy Legends and movie releases for February and March 2018. We've got a whole slew of movie The Best stuff coming out, which is mostly just covering a few deluxes that they didn't get to the first batch last year or earlier this year. We're also getting Leader Jetfire and probably one of Takara's refined versions of the Revenge of the Fallen Leader Optimus mold. Jetfire is going to be 10,000 yen, and the Optimus is going to be 15,000.
Ooh.
Just absorb that for a second.
But
can you translate that into?
So
Jetfire's about $100, and Optimus Prime's about 150.
Together, they will be the cost of Metroplex, Trypticon, or Fortress Maximus.
Well, not Legends Metroplex, because that's like $250.
Yes, I said together they will be the cost of.
Yeah.
Because if you put
and Optimus.
10,000 and 15,000 together, you get the 25,000 that Takara's Titans cost.
That does
that
equal
hurts.
Metroplex.
Yeah,
It really hurts.
And that'll probably hurt the secondary market because Jetfire was bringing a decent amount on eBay, especially if it was still boxed. So
yeah, Jetfire retained some worth surprisingly. To me, the more interesting thing here is what's in the Legends side of things.
yeah,
That's the only thing interesting to me.
The Decepticon clone set is not something unexpected since the Autobot ones are scheduled for January. Instead, what we have that's interesting is Windblade as a target master, which I can only assume comes with Fracas.
Which irritates me because I don't want to have to buy that Windblade again. I really
I know,
don't.
right? Guess what I pre-ordered this morning? Also coming is a G2 Megatron made off of the Voyager mold, presumably.
Well, now I was thinking maybe this was the Combiner Wars Megatron.
Not at that price. It's at the Voyager point.
Okay.
Basically, it's at the same price point as Blitzwing and Octone.
Okay.
So it's going to be the Voyager mold with something. Whether that's a Titan vehicle or an head.
Plus, they canceled the re-release of that Megatron mold. I doubt they just switched the colors.
Yeah.
Well, it doesn't make a difference because I've already pre-ordered the Megatron already.
As have I. I don't even care what color scheme it comes in.
Well, I would prefer
be it
the
green or purple. I don't care.
Well, someone pointed out that because of Megastorm, it's very likely that G2 Megatron will be the purple one just to distinguish the two designs.
Well, it's also purple is also what they did in 2010 or thereabout. So
yeah,
that seems to be their vision of what G2 Megatron looks like.
Well, I'm hoping it's going to be the broadside mold with a Megatron head.
Oh, jeez. Okay, now I'm hanging up on him. Forget this.
Well, I'll be honest. If it is the Hero Megatron colors, I will probably drop my pre-order because I really want. Because I think Blitzwing in the Blitzwing mold in the green G2 Megatron would look really nice, and it'd be kind of weird seeing his jet mode reminded you of Acid Storm as well. In those colors, kind of.
Oh yeah, I didn't even think about that.
Yeah, so I pre-ordered Windblade just for the Target Master because I'm a sucker, but I am waiting to see what this Megatron looks like before I decide if I'm going to pre-order that or not. Because as I pointed out, I already have a fairly nice G2 inspired Megatron redeco. I don't necessarily need another one.
See, I don't have that Megatron, and I did not get the Titans Return Megatron Voyager at all because I figured I was getting Blitzwing. I didn't need it. But if it's G2, that makes it worth it to me.
Okay.
So I totally pre-ordered that one.
Yeah. But now, at least, Chris, you were able to order the Windblade. What if they were doing those Target Masters like the Micron Legends single giveaway figures at Toys R Us across Japan? Then you would be spending almost as much for the Target Master trying to get one through a middleman. Because remember how much some of those Micron Legend Target Masters were going for?
Yeah, no, I was just pondering like what point it would be that I would decide I would live without it. I think involving a middleman is probably that point.
I think this Windblade is one of the worst designed Titan Returns figures, deluxe figures that I have. I think they didn't spend a lot of time on this, and it shows.
I don't have a problem with I don't have a problem with the transformation or the jet mode. I just think the robot proportions are odd and it's slightly off-putting. That's why I don't want to buy it again, just for Scourge's Target Master.
I mean, these arms just sticking out the back there. I mean, they could have easily.
Every Windblade does that.
Every Windblade is that way. These are just
every Combiner Wars jet did that.
Why can't they fix it? Fix it. Make it
Because the engineering model that's built on doesn't allow for them to fix it, because even though it's 90% new parts, it's still basically Scourge and Highbrow again.
Aren't those arms on ball joints? Can't you fix it yourself, Diecast?
Well, now I got a question for Rob or Chris here, since y'all two will probably know more. The Autobot clones had the two-tone reds. I don't remember how they looked in animation in Japan, but what can we expect from the clone sets? Are we going to see another mixed match color scheme where the reds don't match because it's animation color? Because I don't remember what they look like.
Clones looked like in the Headmasters.
Well, if they were mismatched, you'll get it.
That's why you should buy the Malaysian dubs on DVD, and then you could, see what they look like in the Headmasters.
I don't hate myself that much.
I don't. Okay, so like the Autobot clones are animation accurate with the pink and the red coloring. I don't think the Decepticon ones are going to be as distinctly different just because of what the basic coloring is. You might get like a different shade of cyan for the body instead of what the Hasbro ones do. Just something like that. I don't think it's going to look quite as different just because they're not all one unified color throughout.
Yeah.
But probably we will know by the end of the month because these will probably be in this month's hobby magazines.
Mm-hmm.
That's why I'm not too worried about not pre-ordering Megatron right now, because by the time I can see it, it will probably still be available for pre-order.
It would have been nice to get a purple Megatron from Takara and a green one in a box set.
Yeah, that would have been nice.
Box sets, what are those?
Yeah.
Well, let's wait and see what the new Collectors Club does once it's announced. Because
that's my hope. That's my hope. It's in the back of my mind.
Yeah, I'm going to reveal a slight secret I've been keeping. I love G2. We all know that. I'm hoping at some point that whatever Hasbro's Collectors Club winds up doing, they do some G2 figures. Like we'll get our G2 Devastator maybe through them, or we'll get our G2 Defensor. Stuff they know that collectors won't. It'd be an easy recolor, but it's something that would be very Collector Clubbish product.
And if it was a Collectors Club, not general retail, or a subscription or whatever, you could sell 6 figures with the same deco and get away. I mean, you get away with that as long as you don't have to make stuff stand out on store shelves.
So next up we have some more package art leaks. These are for Starscream, Grimlock, Bumblebee, also Optimus Prime and Megatron. Rob, why don't you tell us about these, because I think you covered these stories.
Okay, yeah. We do not know exactly what these are yet. Apparently the page that originally posted them identifies at least Grimlock and Starscream as Voyagers. Now, whereas that might lead you to think it might be related to Power of the Primes, it's nothing like any of the Generations packaging we've seen so far, and ultimately we did get a package back image that shows that is most definitely not Power of the Prime's Grimlock. This has caused me to reconsider what I was saying a couple of months ago, that the new character art shown on the My Busy book and has shown up several other places in the last couple of weeks could not possibly be what Cyberverse is. I think this could well be Cyberverse. It could really be the G1 redo that everyone was expecting it to be, because these are definitely the same character designs from that My Busy book thing. And yeah, if it's a 7-step Voyager, it's basically somewhere in the Cyber Battalion neighborhood or Cyber Commander neighborhood of complexity. So my current guess, and this is just a guess with nothing like serious behind it yet, is that Cyberverse is going to be the way of distinguishing the show from what has come before, and this will be a mass market line just called Transformers. And that's why none of the merchandise we've seen so far with these pieces of character art on them, like the Optimus Prime and Bumblebee go-karts Hey Mickey found. There's been, I think, some like candy toys and a couple of other things, sticker sets, things like that. None of them say Cyberverse. They all just say Transformers. And so that's where I'm leaning with this.
Are you expecting we'll have an announcement at HasCon on anything to do with Cyberverse?
Absolutely.
I would think. They may even have mentioned that they were going to talk about it, because Cyberverse is a thing that was revealed through official channels. It was through the Hasbro Investors Conference a month or two ago. So that's not, this is all leaks, but the existence of Cyberverse is not. So yeah, this could well be something we find out about at HasCon. I'm hoping it is. If I'm right and this is all related and we're getting merchandise already using these character designs, this can't be particularly far off. No. I would say if we're getting merchandise for this already, this is probably something they're shooting at having on shelves for Christmas.
Has Robots in Disguise definitively ended yet, though? Because this is supposedly what's taking its place, right?
It ends this year. This is the last year of Robots in Disguise.
Yeah.
All right. So it'd be around the same. Okay.
So, I mean, you can see the last wave or so we know about is like one new mold and the recolor of Bisque, Thermidor, and Bludgeon. So it's one mold and two new recolors mixed into a case with a lot of other rerun toys. Yeah. It's winding down. The show's in its last season. So, yeah, I mean, Rob's right. Probably this would be something that we could expect to see around the end of the year, the same way Robots in Disguise started at the beginning of 2015 alongside Combiner Wars. So, like, both new lines should launch at about the same time.
I'm curious why they're going back to, like, having Voyager figures and such when with Robots in Disguise they deviated from that. They had the Warrior class figures, which were, deluxes, but they didn't do like Voyagers or like Leaders or anything. So I'm curious why they're going back to, if it's specifically supposed to be meant for that age group, why they're going back to having the Generation style price points.
I have a theory about this, and this is just entirely speculation. Mm-hmm. But my theory is that in general, because these designs are kind of similar to what we're getting in Generations this year, Starscream in particular, there are a lot of similarities between the Generations design and this one. My theory is that they're going for a slightly greater consolidation of the lines and the characters than we've seen recently. But whereas with, Robots in Disguise being a separate line for kids, Rescue Bots being a separate line for even younger kids, and Generations being for the adults, and Movie falling somewhere in between, maybe, hopefully, they hope.
Yeah.
This, I have a feeling that they're just trying to, it's a move I want to call very kind of
conservative.
Yeah. They're trying to make so that there's basically a single identifiable version of every character across the lines. I mean, there are certain, guidelines that
kind of like the Align project, but maybe executed correctly.
Gotcha.
Yeah, because I mean, there are plenty of visual similarities between RID Optimus Prime, Rescue Bots Optimus Prime, Generations Optimus Prime, but these are, I'm pretty sure if you put the Power of the Prime's leader, Optimus Prime, we're not supposed to know about, next to the Optimus Prime from this line, any two people who see them are going to be able to tell you they're the same guy.
Sure.
Now, if Grimlock is one of the figures that we're seeing as a Voyager that's coming out first, and we know, even though we're not supposed to know, that we're getting a Power of the Prime's Voyager Grimlock, and if we're expecting both these things to come out in December, wouldn't they not want that? I mean,
so my theory here is that we're getting hung up on the terminology a little bit too much. The Grimlock may very well be similar in volume to a Voyager figure. It will probably be packaged very differently. It's probably going to have a different price point too. I think if these are airing toward the Cyber Battalion model more, they're going to be relying on having large, inexpensive toys that are more accessible to buy for younger kids. But like the packaging will still be visually distinctive from the Generations toys or whatever else they have out, so that the parents and grandparents who actually need to choose the toy will be able to distinguish between the lines readily. So there's not going to be an accidental, well, I bought you the Grimlock that's that size, I can't help that it doesn't combine with the other toys you have. They want to avoid that happening. So I think that would be, the visual style will probably be a little different, the packaging style will be different, the price will be different. those will be the ways, if this theory holds through, that's how you would tell the difference at a glance, basically.
Also,
I think they learned
also
their lesson about packaging design from the last movie when everything was exactly the same.
Yeah.
Not the last night.
Oh
the
my
Age-
goodness. Yeah,
Age
Age
of
of
Extinction.
Extinction.
I do also want to bring up that the site that first leaked this was in Chinese. Voyager may not have been a specific. I don't think any of these images actually say Voyager on them, so they may not be officially called Voyagers. That may just be a size comparison, so people know the size of figure we're talking about. I mean, if we're right, if the show is called Cyber Battalion and we expect this to, follow, if we expect these toys to, or Cyberverse, and we expect these toys to follow a Cyber Battalion kind of format, this may be a Cyber Commander class figure once it's on the shelves.
Gotcha. So is Cyber Battalion, that's currently a Universal exclusive, but we are seeing it pop up in Walgreens too, right?
Mm-hmm.
So do we think that's going to end when this starts?
I don't think if I'm right about this, I don't think it's going to end. I don't think it'll be exclusive, if that's what you mean. But I think the Cyber Battalion product will in Walgreens may just transition over to this new line.
Okay, I wasn't sure.
Or
if
it'll
Cyber
linger for
Battalion
3 or
would keep its own
4
thing.
years, like other things that Walgreens do.
Well, yeah. I wish they had taken
let's-
those movie toys back off clearance at mine, because then I would have just,
All right, let's move on. So we have the Bait, Diodora, Optimus Prime, Megatron, Bumblebee, and Soundwave exclusives. So what this is, it's a lottery that you can enter for the opportunity to purchase some Transformers-themed shoes that come with little character figurines as a bonus. And the privilege of purchasing them will set you back $230 if you're selected.
Wow.
What size are the shoes?
Well, they're not
The
one size
information
fits
I
all.
have
I know
here
that
does not
much.
say.
I would hope
Yeah,
they
they
would,
better be
they would offer them
self-lacing
in
at that
yours.
point.
Like, oh, you can get the shoe in a size 5, and you're like a size 12. That's not going to work very well.
Yeah, I'm like a size 16, so I'm doubting I'm getting any of these.
Oh, you too.
Yep.
All right, let's not brag about the
Yeah.
size of our shoes. Jeez.
Yeah. It's like, is
Did
it
I
the
mention
shoe?
what I got on Monday?
It's like,
So,
Is it
Diecast,
the
how do you feel about
shoes?
going to California for a while
If
and leaving your computer and microphone at home? So, you were talking about wanting to get into a Transformers movie. Go to Santa Cruz right now. They are looking for beachy types as extras, and I'm pretty sure you could probably pass if you tried.
Especially if you dye your hair blonde again.
And just
Yeah.
say dude a lot.
Put the highlights back in, and you've got it for sure.
I would love to be in that. That's like, one of my ultimate goals is being a Transformers movie. It'll never happen, but it's nice to dream.
Not
of.
if you don't go to California and try.
I mean,
Yeah,
this is your best chance because you're doing all the filming in California. So you just have to go hang out there for a few months. You can probably get yourself in a scene if you
Probably a few weeks actually, but yeah.
I would either get myself in a scene or get arrested. One of the two.
Well, no, porque no los dos. I mean, you could easily do both in one day.
Would he meet the height requirement though?
Oh yeah, because you can't do most amusement park rides, can you?
Yeah.
Okay, that was a low blow.
Eric, do you even meet
Get it?
age
Get
requirements in
low,
most states?
I'm 18 now,
Oh, okay.
so not for drinking, but
Well, no, you can drink. You just can't let anybody catch you drinking.
Exactly.
Remember, kids, don't drink if you're under 21. They'll take your license away from you. So let's see. Going through quickly here. Dinosaur versus Titans Return Triptychon. What's the difference? Short version is there are none.
No.
The
price.
sticker sheet is printed a little bit more expanded out. It's the same stickers. All the plastic colors are the same. The hips, apparently on this one sample at least, are better on the Takara version right out of the box.
I should
But
hope
they
so.
are color deco. They are identical. So don't bother importing if you have access to, your local market one.
I think
Unless you
John
pay
Deluna
money.
did.
Hey Don,
yes.
how about that Unicron lamp?
It's still gorgeous. It's still
How
$1,000.
How about $18,000 or $20,000 worth of them all in one place together?
That's. I don't think that's a very bright idea if that thing collapses.
Don.
I mean, it is bright if there's a bunch of them there, but
Well, that's obviously the
Good point.
factory, so.
No, really, you think?
Well, I'm just saying, Don.
Yeah,
Don't get...
Yeah, so
what
we
I
have
find-
a picture up on T-Formers right now if you want to see a bunch of these lamps that you'll never own all in one place together from where Soldier Story was doing final quality tests on them, quality checks. It's quite impressive just for the amount of money there is sitting all in one place
wow.
in the form of a
What I
lamp.
find-
One of those will be at
interesting
my
that-
house soon.
Really?
Wait, are you serious?
No.
Dang.
I wish. Maybe if
Oh.
I find it on Taobao cheap enough.
I mean, if you didn't buy 6 springers, maybe you could.
Yeah, if you find those cheap on Taobao, certainly get in touch with Don because he might be able to make his day.
Actually, you raise an interesting point because for the price of his 6 springers, he probably could buy one of these lamps.
No, yeah, I was serious about that.
Yeah,
I
That
wasn't even kidding.
That math's out.
You did it to yourself,
Also-
Diecast.
But
One
one
piece of
thing I
third
find-
party. Go ahead, Don.
one thing I find interesting is that there are no Rodimuses on this lamp yet, which I wonder if the Rodimuses are going to be permanently affixed or if there is like a slot or a channel or a groove that the
I thought
base
they
of the
already said it was
Rodimus.
removable.
Yeah, it does come off.
I thought that was stated.
Oh, okay. I if I knew that, I'd forgotten about that because I thought that'd be kind of interesting. Because if the Rodimus will stand by himself, you could take the Rodimus off and have that like somewhere else on display as a standalone figure, and then you can just have the Unicron by himself. To be that way.
I think the first prototypes we saw of this did not initially have the Rodimus attached.
Okay.
So
Yeah. And
okay,
in
so
terms of-
finally, okay, Rob's got the last word on this. Then we move on.
Okay, just in terms of where that Rodimus is in the pictures, you'll notice in the second picture, all the boxes say box 1 of 2. It comes in 2 parts, so presumably Rodimus is in the other box.
Part
I
A, part
imagine
B.
Unicron was the base.
Yeah.
So moving on to our one piece of third-party news, we have our third unofficial Masterpiece scale Cosmos, because in third-party you can't do anything just once. So
Yeah,
this
that's
is
true.
by Mastermind Creations under their Ocular Max label. This is Omni Reconnaissance.
I actually like the way this one looks, which is not really surprising since it's Mastermind Creations.
It's a good style.
Yeah.
I
Yeah.
like the not the Toy World one. What's the second one that came out?
Extra spots.
That's
I like the way
Klaatu.
that one looks too, but something about this is speaking to me a little bit more. I think it's a little bit more like airing to the Generation side. I think I'm kind of digging that.
Is it
Yeah,
the
I was-
lighter green? I mean, that's one thing I definitely put a knock on X Transbots about. Their test shot or the original renders were a lighter green than what we actually got, and I liked that lighter green. This has the lighter green. I kind of don't like the black or dark gray ring around the whole thing.
Yeah, it's because I was looking at this because I've got the Toy World. I've got the clear version of the Cosmos because I really like the colors in those clear plastics. I've got that one, but I think I like the Klaatu a little bit more. I like the way the Mastermind, the Ocular Max one, the feet collapse a little bit better to be more solid looking, but he's not goofy looking enough. You know, Cosmos has this certain kind of. Well, I mean, Cosmos has this short, goofy, happy kind of charm, and the Ocular Max version just looks like it's a little more. I'm going to kill you. It just maybe it's the stance, maybe it's that.
I think it's
It's-
the head sculpt.
Yeah, it looks like he's just like, again, it just doesn't look. It doesn't radiate like plumpy cheerfulness like Cosmos does. And the Klaatu also, I like. This is a very minor thing, but I like the way Klaatu's blasters are. They're not like under the arms; they're on the side where they're supposed to be. It's a very minor thing, I know, but I just think Klaatu looks a little more happy, a little more chunky, a little more goofy. That goofy Cosmos that I love.
We knock on third parties for repeating the same thing multiple times, but like this is one of those cases where you can kind of give an example of, there's a little bit of merit to this because obviously we all have our different qualifications for what we want to see in a particular character. One in particular is working really well for Dawn. Some of us like this one a little bit better. I know Diecast hates that Toy World one,
Yep.
but the point is, up to a point, having a few different ones is not the worst thing. Now, when we get to like the baker's dozen of Cosmos, I think that's gone past the point of reason. But
yeah, we'll just have to
not so much.
We'll just have to wait to see how the next 7 turn out. Is basically what I'm saying.
I do like that this has the little window for a little blaster or bumblebee that they can actually pilot.
So
Cosmos.
it's okay. So there's, as far as I can tell, there's a back window that's always there that has one of them in it, and then there's an option piece where you can swap out the blue panel on the front side for a clear window, and there's another character behind that, because you can see on the one side there is Cosmos' face right behind there, and on the other side is the back of the head.
Yeah.
And one of the bit is I did see a picture of the box. I've been trying to find it to post a link, but I couldn't find it. The bottom of the box is a teaser for their next figure, Skids.
Neat.
Ah.
Yeah, it's just a picture of Skids sitting
That's
on
X-Transbots. That's not Ocular Max.
Oh,
but still, it's
I'm
interesting.
sorry,
Someone doing Skids.
Yeah, X-Transbots is doing the Skids.
Yeah, I'm sorry. That's what I meant was X-Transbots. I'm sorry. So yeah, it's just a picture of him sitting on like a New York street or something. But I thought that'd be kind of nice to see, because Skids is not one. I don't expect a Masterpiece Skids anytime soon. I would love one, but I don't expect one anytime soon.
Well, it's perfect timing for him to be resurrected in the comics. So, perfect.
I don't think it's out of Masterpiece Kids is out of the realm of possibility, though.
It tracks.
What was the what was the car manufacturer for Skids?
Honda City Turbo.
Okay. I wonder if the
I
Masterpiece.
can't imagine Honda would be that much of a problem to get a toy license from.
No.
So we don't have anything in the show notes for this, so this is just going to be kind of generic. Thanks to Amazon, tfradio.net/Amazon. Every purchase you make through that link helps us to keep paying the bills at least a little bit. Off the top of my head, the big Mega Bloks Enterprise is probably still up at a good price, and if you've got the space for it, that's a really nice looking kit once it's all together. Trypticon last week at least was in the $135 range. So
I just checked it today. Yep.
Perfect.
Oh, nice.
So those are definitely some options. You can find that at tfradio.net/Titan Eater.
Yes.
I think.
I believe so.
Yep.
And
fix the legs before you assemble him.
If
mine was fine. I got mine from Amazon, and there were no problems.
Check the legs before you assemble him.
Yes, check the legs first. And I think the Enterprise is at tfradio.net/Enterprise. If you want to try picking one of those up.
So tempting.
A lot of the Star Trek Mega Bloks kits from last year are up right now at fairly reduced prices. It varies depending on the size of kit, but those are some nice Mega Bloks kits. Mega Bloks kits are a lot better than they were even a few years ago, so that's definitely something to consider picking up this week on that one episode of Star Trek.
Well, I'm at the webpage right now because I was checking the Enterprise, and the bridge set is $42.
Yeah, so that's a little bit down from its original retail. Yeah, and the little figure booster sets are under 10 at this point, I think, too. So that's definitely something to consider when you're looking for something to purchase on tfradio.net/Amazon to help the show out. Thanks, guys. Also, plasma TVs or OLED, whatever they have now. Xboxes, PS4s, buy everything.
I'm sticking with grand pianos.
Or you can do like Rob, buy a lawnmower.
Yeah. Did buy a lawnmower through the link, so.
Or a 4K TV and a grand piano to sit it on.
Yes, there you go.
Yeah. Or a mixer you can use to actually stream the show.
Now, when you say lawnmower, do you mean lawnmower or goat?
Actual lawnmower. I don't think Amazon's in the goat business yet.
Yeah.
Although I don't know what Whole Foods stocks, so.
I think by the time Whole Foods gets a hold of a goat, it's too late to use it for lawn care.
Yeah, probably so.
You're right.
Rob, what's on T-Formers this week?
Okay, first up, we have got my review of SDCC 2017 Premier Voyager Optimus Prime, which The review was referred to internally as Pointless Prime to distinguish it from Primitive Prime. That said, it's really sad that this costs as much as it does because it's probably the best deco this figure has seen. And it's not a bad figure. But the review is now up on tformers.com if you want to take a look. Looks like Brian is going to hook me up with my tire chunk, though. So,
nice.
Yeah, that's a nice thing.
If that's actually important to you.
It'll be nice to have the whole thing, I think. And that was just
so. So, Diecast, if they have the Optimus Prime truck there at HasCon, just cut a chunk of the tire out for Rob.
I will. I will.
While you're on your joyride.
Okay, so that will satisfy Diecast's getting arrested requirement.
Yeah.
I thought that was supposed to happen in California, though.
Let's be flexible, Eric.
Whatever.
Porque no los dos.
Yeah, I mean, there's nothing like having a felony record in 2 or 3 states.
Now, that's a collection, a Transformers-related arrest in every state of the country. That's a project for somebody.
I just want footage of them on that truck getting chased, and all of a sudden you hear out the window,
"This is a happy day."
That's all I want. That's all I want.
You know, Jason, you are a lot better on mixing sound into the show than Kilby is.
Oh,
Because we
why,
can actually
thank
hear
you.
it clearly.
Yes. Let's see. Also, we've got your galleries, XB, Chris, of Siege on Cybertron, Thunderwing, Pounce, and Metal Hawk, which all look really good.
Thank you.
That Metal Hawk looks really nice. I'm kind of sad I didn't get one, but the plastic still does look kind of scary.
Yeah,
So
I'm sad that it will deteriorate into gold dust very soon.
So you know, in Trigger Happy, there's the 2 like long arms that connect the shoulder parts to the torso. I trimmed the tabs on the back of those, so they slide in and out easier. They still secure in place for robot mode, but now the whole process of transforming in either direction feels a lot more comfortable. So that's something to keep in mind if you've got Metal Hawk and are afraid to touch it.
Yeah, that's definitely good to know because, man, that's a pretty toy.
Yeah.
And if you have it and you are afraid to touch it, just know it looks really nice from way across the room still. So
Perhaps, seal it in a vacuum chamber. I don't know if that will actually help anything, but
Worth a shot.
Not a bad one to put in a display case, though, if you've got one.
Put it in a box and it's never broken if you don't look at it.
Exactly.
Exactly.
Schrodinger's toy.
Yep. See, also we have a couple of articles I wrote this week. Short little things. 4 things we hope to learn more about at HasCon this Friday, and I'm pretty sure we covered every single one of them, at least in part, on today's show. And just also covered on today's show the fact that it's the assumption we're making at the moment is that Windblade's Target Master is going to be Fracas to go with Scourge.
Which, from a faction divide point, actually makes sense for a Japanese release because Fracas was the target master for Artfire in the Headmaster's line. So it is Autobot associated in Japan. So that actually works.
Okay.
Don, what's on the network this week?
I thought Nightstick was Artfire's target master.
Stepper.
Okay.
Nightstick is Stepper, and the Fracas mold, which I think also is called Nightstick, or maybe Nebulon, was with Artfire.
On the network this week, Superhero Time episode 275, the Defender special. Superhero Time is back for 1 week. And it's not anything Toku or Power Ranger related. It's another Netflix Marvel podcast. Chris, Matt, Ken, and Paladin talk about the Defenders and all of its ups and downs in a very random, unfocused manner that eventually becomes a huge off-topic. That's how you know it's a genuine Superhero Time episode. What happened to the Headmasters, episode 1? Oh, my God. 4 soldiers from the sky. On the first episode of What's Happened to the Headmasters, Brian is joined by Wendy Kaysen and the co-host of How Was Your Week? And today they talk about the first 2 episodes of The Headmasters through the lens of the Omni Productions dub, which is both ridiculed and celebrated throughout the Transformers fandom.
Hey, Don, spoilers. Wendy loved it.
Oh yeah.
Okay, Ultra Magnus dies.
Also, I
RP
spared you a lot because the actual episode title is like 2.5 times the length of what's in the show notes here.
Yep.
Thank you. RPG Lessons Learned, episode 18, Exploring Sandpoint from Pathfinder. On this episode, Dusty and Mike talk about getting revenge on the farmer who set the band of adventures up in the previous game.
Did they send Redis after him?
I don't know. As long as it wasn't my DM friend that had a albino red dragon and said it was a white dragon in the D&D adventure we played one time. Being Awesome with Rob Springer, episode 117, Gimmicks Combined. This Week in Awesome, Rob talks about Master Shooter collectibles and does a Q&A about gimmicks. There Goes My Money, episode 29, Labor Day. I got to work to pay for these toys. There Goes My Money is recording on Labor Day. We had to work. Lots of toys to pay for. Diecast, what have you got in the review columns coming up?
Well, I just put a review up where you definitely want to watch. It's my Unicron head review. And then coming up soon, who knows, maybe a Headmaster RC, maybe something else that we pick up at HasCon.
All right.
Cool.
Very nice.
Cool.
And as always, you can find the show notes for this episode at tfradio.net/535. And as noted earlier in the show, we have a voicemail line if you want to leave us a message or send a text message. It will accept either. You can find that at 931-99-GOBOT, 931-994-6268. Be sure to follow us on Twitter at TFRadio. Also, follow our Facebook page, facebook.com/TFRadio, and we're on Instagram at TF Podcast. I'm on Twitter, but I will not tell you where, but Matt will because he's an asshole. Matt, where can they find you on Twitter?
Well, they can find you at ChrisRTXV, first of all. And I guess they can find me at Melvar with 3 L's and 2 R's.
Don?
I can be found on Twitter at HMRC4EVR.
Diecast?
You can find me on YouTube at RFC Reviews. You can find me on Facebook at Reviews by Diecast. And you can also find me on Twitter at Diecast2. And yes, I have to be different and be a pain in the butt and different on everything.
Well, you know, unlike John DeLuna, who is that John D on everything. Right, John?
Right.
Word.
Rob?
I am on Twitter at Figure Reviewers and Flailthroughs. I am also on YouTube at Flailthroughs, where the Gundam Breaker 3 series is continuing. This week it is entirely the Gundam Exia at the request of the person who bought me the game. And you will find the Optimus Prime review, as well as everything else Chris and I do for T-Formers in terms of video reviews, on YouTube at T-Formers TV.
Jason, where can people find you on the internet?
Well, much like John, you can find me at Jason S. Kirk everywhere, be it Twitter. Well, not everywhere, I guess Twitter, Instagram, and a couple other places. And shameless self-plug, check out me and my friend David on my regular podcast, Podvocacy, where we talk about, well, we do our Summer of Shame right now, where we both watch movies we have not seen yet. Most recently, mine was, I just watched Fargo for it. So yes, I had not seen Fargo. So we'll talk about that next week.
Fargo.
I haven't either.
I recommend it. It was good.
And Eric, where can people find you, assuming you want to be found?
You can find me on Twitter at Eric Crowbar with 2 C's, I think.
It is. I checked for you.
Thanks. I'll be tweeting plenty at HasCon, so.
We had a talk recently and got Eric to change his Twitter handle, so I think there's still some getting used to that, isn't there? But Eric Crowbar is such a good name.
Yeah, I barely knew how I did the Aramis Prime anyways. I never knew if I had an underscore in there anyway, so I just don't remember. That's not really, that has nothing to do with it being new.
All right, cool. Well, that's going to do it for our show this week. Thanks, everybody, for watching, and thank all of you for being here with me this week, especially Jason for guest producing and Eric for filling in our empty space, and as usual, just being an awesome person to have around. So we will see you next week with lots to report from HasCon, hopefully, and Brian will be back to wrangle the cats again,
and
except for Matthew, who will be wrangling Don.
And before we go, make sure you follow us at TF Radio because all the news that we encounter at HasCon will be on at TF Radio and also tformers.com.
Absolutely. Thank you, Diecast.
And we're just about 3 weeks away from TFCon, too.
I'll be there.
So, looking forward to that.
And when's New York Comic Con?
November?
October,
Yeah.
November, somewhere in
No,
there.
it's October.
Yeah.
It's like the second weekend in
wow.
October.
So that's gonna be like the week after TFCon then?
Yeah,
Yeah.
Yeah.
TFCon is I think the 28th through the 1st.
Yep,
Welcome
it's my
to the
birthday
second
weekend.
season, kids.
Yeah, the thing that's going to be interesting is what are they going to save for us for Toy Fair? You know, because we're going to see, we never had this HasCon reveals before, so.
I assume HasCon would just show the same kind of stuff they would show at New York Comic Con. New York Comic Con will probably be reruns, mostly. Maybe with one exclusive reveal there, and then Toy Fair will just proceed as usual since we've had good New York Comic Con years. That's my guess.
Doesn't matter because we've seen it all anyways.
But we might be able to see some of it in non-blurry form and possibly, a prototype or two. So
Yeah, display cases.
Yeah.
As
Sad,
nature
that's
intended.
all we have to look forward to.
Super glued or hot glued
I will
together.
take what I can get.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I mean, well, the slides, the renders for the presentations are all well and good, but I'm never like completely satisfied until I can actually see pictures of the physical item in the display case somewhere.
Yeah.
Like it's not about it like that's when it becomes real. It's just like, okay, that's how they actually put it together, so I can start to learn something from this. It's that kind of thing for me.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm excited to see
anyway,
him in person.
Yeah, lucky you.
I know.
Lucky you or not, because who knows about this HasCon business.
All right, can you guys still see my video? I'm frozen on
Yeah,
my
you're
end.
frozen.
You are frozen on
So's
mine.
Matt.
Yeah, you're frozen.
You're a slow
Yeah,
girl
Matt's
over
been
here.
frozen like the entire show.
That's
It's okay, though,
because, my
It's
call
okay
was
because his
dropped.
eyes are closed.
All right, can you see me now?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
Just in time for the
Okay.
show, the end.
Sadly.
I forgot but these are very important. I've got Optimus
yeah.
Prime that is a Megatron gun, and I also got
Oh,
a
yeah.
Bumblebee that
So
is
is
a
that-
Megatron gun.
Based off of the Generation toy design.
Yes.
How much were those?
I'm not
He
sure.
doesn't know. He got them off Taobao.
Yeah, they were cheap, but I just thought these were so kooky that I had to have them.
Yeah,
I
no.
don't blame you.
If they were those, but based off the G1 mold, it would be even better.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, I'm satisfied. I kept the show to almost an hour and a half, couple minutes over.
Not bad.
That's better than my usual record of about 3.5 hours.
Those are always fun, though.
Yeah.
Yes, that's why in the old days, superhero time usually top 2 hours because it's just like, yeah, this is just gonna kind of go on its own momentum.
Well,
Yeah,
and you had
turns out more
JD.
interesting.
I mean, yeah.
Well, when you say JD, it's unavoidable.
Yes,
miss JD.
I was actually amazed by our little Defenders podcast where we actually managed to talk about the Defenders for almost half of it.
At some point afterward, I remembered something else I wanted to bring up during that, but I have since forgotten again.
Well, we got so far off topic. I mean, I'm sure there's stuff we all wanted to talk about that we never got around to.
The worst thing is I don't remember like all the off-topic stuff we even talked about. I think Power Rangers was in there at one point.
Well, of course.
Oh yes. There was some Sentai too. I'm sure Mega Blocks probably.
Yeah, what am I gonna have to buy this time?
No, I think we were just talking about the Star Trek minifigures again.
Mhm.
I think. See, I don't even remember anymore. Whoa.
Yepper.
Have any of you listened to, is it Transformers University?
Yes, it's amazing.
Not yet. I just subscribed to it today.
Yeah, I
downloaded
subscribed to
so-
it. I downloaded it. I'm going to listen to it probably on the flight to HasCon.
It is. The shooter interview is a little hard to understand because it was done at a con, and it's not Ant's fault. That happens every time. It's not his
Right.
fault.
Oh yeah.
but you can still hear it, so please listen. But the first episode, like what he gets into, the audio quality, like he tells you, you know, it's about G1 basically, and he tells you like what was going on in the world around the time it happened, and that alone, you know, especially since I was alive then, and Eric, for you who wasn't alive then, just getting a look
It's
at
a
like,
history lesson.
class.
no, it absolutely is, and he does a fantastic job. If everyone on the live stream, go find it. I'm sure you can get it from tfu.info, but go listen. It is fantastic.
Yeah, you can definitely follow Ant on Twitter at TFU_info, I believe. And it will definitely be linked from there if all else fails. Also, you should just follow Ant anyway because he's a cool dude.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
He's going to HasCon too, right?
Yep.
Yeah,
Yeah,
his birthday
he
was this last week.
Oh, cool.
Mine was Monday.
Happy birthday, Ant.
Oh,
Happy birthday,
Matt. I'm so sorry I missed it.
Yeah, happy birthday.
And I still got no new Transformers this week. It was a sad birthday.
Oh.